I'm Kevin Gale, voice of the Crusaders, and this is Sader Stories, the official podcast of Holy Cross Athletics, presented by UMass Memorial Health. On this episode, we're checking in mid-season with the Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics here at Holy Cross, Kit Hughes. Kit just passed his 3-year mark on the job, and he's overseen an outstanding era of growth and development in Crusader athletics. His leadership is creating continued success as we flip the calendar from 2024 to 2025. Kit, it's always great to catch up with you. Welcome back to Sader Stories.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you. It's been a while since we've done this, and I've been looking forward for the opportunity to hop on and kind of talk about all the good things going on, and certainly appreciate all your great work and helping tell the stories of our student athletes and coaches through Sader Stories, and eager to chat with you today. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Feels like just yesterday we were socially distanced. Our first interview sitting mid-court at the Hart Center. I can't believe that's been 3 years ago already. How have you seen Holy Cross Athletics grow as a department during that 3-year span?
Yeah, I think, going back to some of these first conversations, you really kind of came in here focused on getting a strong sense of kind of where we were at the time and where I thought we needed to go in order to have the kind of success that we all want to have, not just competitively, but within our community, on and off campus, and all the different ways that we're trying to support these young people, on their developmental journey. And so a big part of that I would talk about was, before we can achieve that kind of success, we need to be organized for success. And so kind of going through the process of evaluation and we've done some restructuring that I think has been really, really effective, and certainly a lot of hiring that's been really, really effective, to better support our coaches and our student athletes, which is what we're here to do. Some of the restructures came with some new hires, and those are hires that you don't necessarily read about on social media or see in the paper, and really proud of the team that we've put together. I think we're in a great place, some really, really talented folks who really helped us move forward, both from a process standpoint and then how they work as a team and with our people. One of the biggest accomplishments that we've had, in my opinion, over the last year was, balancing our fiscal, 24 budget. We ended last year on budget, and that's something that had been a struggle, for us for several years prior. And doing that really just showed that, we're able to put processes in place that allow us to be really effective stewards of our resources, both our campus resources and our resources through the generosity of our Crusader Athletics Fund donors. And I think by doing that, it's created a strong sense of ownership over that process for our coaches and our administration. It's also helped to build a lot of credibility with our stakeholders, both on and off campus, that we're going to do this, we're going to do it the right way, we're going to do it in a way that best serves Holy Cross first and foremost. And then certainly we can accomplish all of that while also enhancing the student athlete experience and some of our outcomes. So I think it's been a really productive 3 years. We have a long way to go. This is work that never stops. And so as proud as I am of the work that our team has done, I'm really eager to continue to move forward.
I appreciate you pointing out some of those behind the scenes movements and innovations that have put the athletics department in an even better position. But I did want to ask you about some of those higher profile hirings and retention of some of our head coaches. Matt Brown is among those new coaches, and he led Crusader men's soccer to a stunning home draw with the defending national champs from Clemson. How special was that night and atmosphere back in September?
Yeah, I mean, that was a real moment for us, as we kind of look back and we kind of catalog, accomplishments over, each individual year. That Clemson game will certainly be up there with some of our top highlights. And really the part, in addition to the incredible play of our student athletes and not backing down or not having the moment be too big for them and performing the way they did. It's the way that our community really got activated around that function. This is soccer. We don't ticket for soccer. We tend to have good crowds. That crowd was incredible. That was up there with one of the best crowds that we've had for any of our sports, since my 3 short years. And so it was an incredible night for Holy Cross men's soccer, but it was an incredible night for the college, and it was a fantastic evening for our community. We had a ton of youth teams there, alumni coming back, and the feedback from folks, these people still bring it up because it's really a core memory for folks. And when they think of their relationship with Holy Cross Athletics, and they were there for that, it'll be a core part of those memories moving forward, and certainly something I'm excited for our guys, to come back when they're at their 10-year, 20-year, 50-year reunions. That's a night that they're going to talk about. So, the team, our student athletes did an incredible job. I was really, really happy for Coach Brown to be able to have that kind of a moment. And hopefully that just gives us a lot to build on, both as a competitive soccer program, but also as a department that's looking to engage with our community at a really high level.
Those engaging on-campus experiences are so valuable, no matter the sport. And perhaps the best on-campus experience we've seen the last handful of years is at Fit and Field. And that's thanks in large part to Bob Chesney, who accepted an FBS head coaching job at James Madison heading into 2024. That left big shoes to fill in your search to find a coach who could get us to a 6th consecutive Patriot League title. And you found him in Dan Curran. How did you feel he delivered on those lofty expectations in year?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, coming in, both Coach Curran and his staff, he did a phenomenal job assembling the kind of staff that they're incredible teachers, they're leaders of young men, and they were able to connect with our guys pretty much immediately. And success it's hard to sustain this kind of success. And I really hope that folks don't become numb to that or take it for granted how challenging this is. And we said going into this year that it felt like this year's football schedule, was actually a more challenging schedule with the teams that we had as compared to our 2023 season. And, to end the year with the same record, to go 5-1 in conference, to share a conference title, that's an incredible accomplishment. And you don't have to look very far, in terms of teams who've won and then struggled mightily to repeat. There's a great example of that from this past season. It tells you how challenging that is. So the job he did connecting with our guys, inspiring them, leading them, and then performing over the course of the year, incredibly proud of that. And it's been a real big step in the right direction for our program. In addition to that, our recruiting has been exceptional. And the work that they've done to recruit some incredibly talented young people, into our program, who can help us continue to pursue the level of success that we want to, who can get us back into that NCAA tournament, and really, continue to bring a lot of pride to Holy Cross and our community. And I think that he's doing everything that the right way that I would hope for him to do it. And I can't wait to see what 2025 has in store for us.
That return to the NCAA tournament doesn't feel too far away in football. Looking at women's basketball now, 2-time defending league champs, back-to-back appearances in the NCAA tournament, coming off a victory in the NCAA tournament. A championship-level coach in Maureen McGarity stepped away from Crusader women's basketball for her family. That left you in a position with a very late summer decision to make on who'd be next up, and it seems like Candace Green has been a perfect fit in her promotion up to interim head coach.
Yeah, that's a team, similar to football, that lost a tremendous amount of experience and talent in the last year's graduating class, who had a lot of success. And then obviously, as you mentioned, the coaching turnover. I think, the feeling that I have, and what I think is just, I'm grateful that we had somebody in a position who is capable of doing exactly what Candace has done. And, I'm not a genius for making the decision that I made. In a lot of ways, we were set up and really in a good position, to kind of move through that really, a challenging period of transition, really in a positive way moving forward. And, Coach Green and our assistant coaches, who've done a phenomenal job. Remember, their coach, they're shorthanded, they're down one, coach this season, and the work that they've done has really been remarkable. And, our kids, obviously, they handled it. I don't think you could expect a group of young people to handle a transition like that better than this group did. They've wildly exceeded my expectations in terms of how they handled it, right? I knew we had talent on the roster. I knew we had a chance to win games. We knew that this did not need to be a year to take any steps backwards, but it's how they've handled the uncertainty and the transition, it really just says a lot about them as people. And so, they are playing incredibly well right now. They're on a nice streak to hopefully they can continue it in some of the games that we have, that we have coming up, but really proud of their work, both as a staff and as a team, and, eager to support them any way we can as we hit the home stretch and get a little bit closer to that Patriot League tournament and hopefully another NCAA berth.
We'll have a very visible basketball doubleheader, men's and women's basketball coming up February 8th inside the Hart Center on Nesson. And I've really felt the growth on the men's basketball sides of things. 2 years ago, you brought Dave Paulson aboard to kickstart a brand new era. I know they've been battling injuries the last 2 years, but it's clear Coach Paulson is building something after the best start in non-conference play dating back to 2018. How have you seen Coach Paulson put his personal touch on a very proud basketball program?
Yeah, I think, and we saw this very early on, in our conversations during the search process and heard this regularly through a lot of our calls with kind of vetting calls. Coach Paulson's an excellent teacher. And to me, that's what comes through more than anything, is that he's a real teacher of the game. He's incredible in terms of the way that he puts things into context for our young people to understand. And he talks about more than just basketball. And when you go to his practices, what you see is a teacher in their classroom working with people. You don't, it's not yelling and screaming and all these histrionics and all these other things. That's not what it is. It's teaching young people the right way and putting them in positions to be successful. And so that's exactly what we believed, we had as we were going through that process. And certainly he's only reinforced that. And again, these aren't solo missions. This requires a great team, a great staff, and he really put together a strong staff, to aid him in this process. So very pleased there. Obviously, recruiting has been excellent. The fruits of that recruiting work are starting to show themselves this year with some of our, first year players, both first year coming out of the high school game and a couple transfers who really helped us. And it's, again, it's how they've become enmeshed in the culture of the team with our returners. They're a far tighter, even with all these new faces, a far tighter group, this year than they were a year ago. And I think that is really a big part of some of the success we've had. And then in game, you see it, you don't have to look far to see it, to see, what a veteran experienced head coach can bring when you're coming out of timeouts, when you're working, when they come out and they run an inbounds play in a late game scenario, in a close game that leads to an easy bucket, and you see that experience on full display. And we're really fortunate to have coaches in these positions that are really, our first class professionals and doing everything they can to put our kids in a chance to be successful.
Looking ahead, you made two new head coaching hires for 2025 with Matt Cribben for women's volleyball and John Ladino for softball. I had Coach Ladino on the pod recently. He is so excited to be back in Worcester. When you're working through the hiring process, what are the characteristics you look for in a Crusader head coach?
Yeah, I mean, I really look for somebody with great experience, with a really positive reputation and a track record of success. I mean, those are the three things that are like right at the top. That's what I'm looking for and evaluating right from the beginning. And then, things like connection to our area from a recruiting standpoint and all the kind of the intangible pieces we try to get at through the search process. I try to be as collaborative as I can with our student athletes and our alumni and various stakeholders in the program, campus leadership, as we go through making these decisions, so that, while I fully appreciate and understand that the ultimate decision and responsibility lies with me, try to be as kind of team oriented as possible going through that process. And hopefully seeing that as a candidate, it also shows them exactly how we're going to do business when they're here, right? This is, we're not on an island. We tout this incredible community we have at Holy Cross, and that should show up, whether it's in the hiring process or in how we run our programs. And hopefully that is really paid dividends as we've made some really strong hires. Both of those coaches you mentioned are people who bring with them vast head coaching experience. That doesn't say that you have to have been a head coach in order for me, to have success and be hired, here. but I put a lot of value into that because I know the growth that takes place for first-time head coaches. I know the decisions that are made that when people look back on them 5 or 10 years later, once they become an experienced head coach, and they say, man, if I was going to start over, I would have done that a little bit differently. And that kind of experience and perspective really has tremendous value for our student athletes. And at the end of the day, that's really, those are the people that are making this decision for our student athletes, kind of past, present, and future. And you mentioned, Matt Cribben, and just because it's top of mind, we had, recent trustee meetings where I was talking about some of these things. He's a 16-year head coach, right? He's been to 7 NCAA tournaments and 4 in a row. He's won 2 East Regional Championships in the NCAA. He's been a 6-time conference coach of the year, right? He had a 20-match win streak this past year. His experience competing at a very high level, recruiting at a very high level, and being connected to our area, that is going to serve our student athletes incredibly well. And so really excited for him, really excited for Coach Ladino. And I feel very confident in the group of head coaches that we have. I have 19 head coaches, and to feel as positive about, there's no 1 through 19, but all 19 of these people believing that they are the best people to be leading these programs, at this point in our history. You don't feel like that necessarily every single day. And so I just feel fortunate and excited for the future.
And personally, I have to agree with you on that. You've built a tremendous community of coaches, and it is great to work with them season by season. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we'll look back on 2024 Crusader accomplishments from the classroom to the NFL right here on Sader Stories.
We are UMass Memorial Health, and innovation is something that defines us, that drives us to discover new ways to provide answers and hope, to provide opportunity and access and equity for everyone, to redefine what medicine can do and how it can heal relentlessly.
Yeah.
Glad we got Jersey Mike's for the game.
Wait, does our mascot look like Danny DeVito to you?
Yeah, it does. That doesn't matter. This is a commercial for Jersey Mike's, where the subs matter most. Freshly sliced right in front of you. That's what they're all about.
You on the cheer squad?
And up see Daisy. Yeah!
Ooh.
Oh, don't worry about me. Focus on those subs. Where the subs matter most. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
Don't miss the 6-time defending Patriot League football champions back in action this fall at Holy Cross. Crusader fans can place a deposit right now on 2025 season ticket memberships. Guarantee the best seating and parking options at the best price by visiting goholycross.com/tickets. You can also call 1-844-GO-CROSS. I'm Kevin Gale, voice of the Crusaders, and this is Sader Stories, presented by UMass Memorial Health. It's great to be joined once again by Holy Cross Athletics Director, Kit Hughes. Kit, looking back on the first semester this season, Crusader student athletes posted their best collective GPA since 2016. Every team finished with a 3.0 GPA or better. I'm sure there are a lot of athletic directors around D1 who would kill for that kind of success in the classroom. What's the secret?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a secret. It really is just, I think, gets to the belief that we have and that we talk about and share with our student athletes and our coaches, that you can pursue the highest level of, Division I athletics and the highest levels, of academic success, and you don't have to choose. And, these things are not mutually exclusive. You can do both. It requires a real commitment, incredible amount of time, a lot of collaboration and support from various people, in our department and on our campus to set these, young people up for success. But at the end of the day, it's their hard work, it's their success. And really, really proud of what they did. It is the first time we've had all 27 teams above the 3.0 since 2016, excluding the modified COVID spring of 2020. But it is, the 3.4 is the highest department GPA for a semester that we have on record. And so, we went back and we're looking as far as we have records going back, and it's the highest GPA that we could find. And so that is really an incredible point of pride for us. Hopefully that's work that we can continue. But everything from the way our coaches are recruiting the right kinds of kids who value the Holy Cross degree and are coming here for the right reasons, kind of that holistic, well-rounded college experience where they're pursuing excellence in all these areas, to the hard work of these kids once they're here and the support they receive both inside the athletic department and outside. It's something we're really proud of and excited to continue moving forward.
And I love how the value of that Holy Cross degree is even showing itself in the NFL. When I talked with CJ Hansen from Holy Cross football before last year's draft, he said he was best prepped for interviews with teams because of the rigorous academic experience at Holy Cross. Now he's going to the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. What does that say to you about having it all and really sharing in the overall experience as a Holy Cross student athlete?
Yeah, I mean, that's an incredible example, right? I mean, a young person, relatively under-recruited, needed to do a lot of work to kind of develop to his full potential, embrace that with incredible enthusiasm and a real strong work ethic, and did all those things, those little things, those daily habits and exercises every day over his time on this campus. And then the world opened up to him in terms of his potential opportunities. And for him to be a member of the Kansas City Chiefs and heading to the Super Bowl with an opportunity to win a ring in his first year in the league is incredibly special. And to think that Holy Cross played a role in his preparation, both as a football player and just as a human being who could really impress upon a franchise what incredible potential he has, is something that's really special and we're very, very proud of. And frankly, that's a great example of how this place has prepared a young person for the NFL. But I'd like to think that when our other student athletes go out in the real world or they're interviewing for jobs in the private sector, that they're finding is that they've been incredibly well prepared as well, and it's really putting them at a position of advantage against other people because they're competing. It might look different, right? They trade in their teammates in the locker room for their teammates in their office space, right? And have we prepared them for success in all these different areas? And I believe that we have a lot of people who've gone out to do great things in their first years after college and beyond, and that's something I think we do extremely well.
And you also have an NFL All-Pro this season. One of our great football alums, Khalif Raymond, was sharing on this very podcast how he was cold emailing coaches from Georgia, desperate for an opportunity. He found a home here at Holy Cross, and now he's an All-Pro punt returner. What kind of prestige does that give an FCS football program, knowing that it is rare to see a player from this level morph into one of the best at their position?
Yeah, I mean, it's we had five alumni play games in the NFL this past year. That's by far and away tops, in our league. But when you start looking at that 5 and above number, that puts us in a very select group of schools across the entire country who have alumni that are having success at the professional level in football. And so it's incredible for recruiting. It's incredible for, recruiting football players, but also just general students who see that kind of success and they hear Holy Cross coming up in this context. And they become intrigued and they want to learn a little bit more and be a part of an environment that has develops people like that. And so it's been impactful in a lot of different ways. Khalif obviously being an All-Pro, he also went in our Athletics Hall of Fame this year, and obviously he is competing for Detroit. He wasn't able to attend it himself, but to have his wife here, to have his mother here, to have his mother-in-law here, to be a part of that celebration and to see the pride that they have in Holy Cross and Khalif's, his time here, that was incredibly, incredibly special. And, I know we're talking about some of these NFL guys, but I'll also say, this past year we had Christo Kelly, at our starting center, captain of the team, one of our student athlete advisory committee presidents. Not only is he all Patriot League and all ECAC, but he's also, one of 22 student athletes around the nation being recognized as a member of the All-State, the AFCA Good Works team, right? And that being a nationally televised process that Christo's a part of, a lot of pride in the work that he did. He's also become the answer to a Jeopardy question, right? He's Bill Belichick's first
That's
ever
right.
college recruit is Christo Kelly down in North Carolina. So, he's able to graduate from Holy Cross and go pursue an MBA and continue to play football down in North Carolina. There's so many people that we can be incredibly proud of, and we're incredibly fortunate.
When you can attract the attention of the GOAT, you've certainly done something right. Christo is an outstanding success story. And I'll never forget when we were talking with Khalif before his induction ceremony, it filled him with such pride, but he was honestly just as excited to talk about CJ Hansen and Jalen Coker, who had a spectacular season with the Carolina Panthers, because it fills him with so much pride to see other Crusaders playing alongside him in the NFL. I do want to look more locally now to what the Crusaders are doing in the Central Mass community. Abby Lane from volleyball hosted the 3rd annual Deaf Awareness Game, which I think is a wonderful outreach. Leading up to the election, student athletes hosted Civic Engagement Day to make sure that everybody was activated to vote. And then women's basketball just enjoyed another packed kid game, which I can tell you as a broadcaster is always the most electric crowd of any season. How does this kind of outreach to young fans, to members of our Worcester community, really align with the college's mission of service?
Yeah, I mean, it's, we're a school that is, we operate in a 500-year tradition of investing in the whole person, and certainly the work that we do in our community allows us to reinforce that all these lessons that they're going to learn on our campus, being of service to other people, at putting others ahead of yourself, right? Being more about, team success than individual success, and whether your team is on the micro level in the locker room here, or your team is your community, right? These are things that we do a lot of work to invest in. Our kids doing an incredible job. And, Civic Engagement Day is a great day to see that on full display. We had poll workers, we had student athletes volunteering at schools, we had people doing cleanups around the community, anything to engage and be of service to those around us. And our kids really, they take a lot of pride and a lot of joy. And it's definitely one of those situations where they get a lot more than they give when they do that. And kind of learning that lesson as they're preparing them to head out in the world and lead a life of impact is incredibly important. So just really, really proud of the work that they do. And, in terms of, being in the community and engaging the community, what we want to do, we're inviting people to join us in this work that we're doing. And our games and our events are a real opportunity for us to showcase a lot of work that's going on behind the scenes, create a lot of pride and spirit on our campus, and engage our community, invite people in. And so we've done work to do that. The Kids Day Game's a great example. These are 3,000 kids, in the local community, many of which, forget a college basketball game. A lot of them have never even been on a college campus. And so to expose them to what college is all about and what this community is all about, while, they may not all be prospective student athletes at Holy Cross, they're all prospective students at Holy Cross, or college students in general. And can we do our part to show them, hey, these are the events that go on. These are the types of young people we have on our campus. We have these incredible role models. And can we inspire in these young people this desire and this interest to kind of go past high school, get to college, continue on and do these things? And I think we've done a great, great job of that. And so, that is a special day. That's a favorite day of the year for sure. Hopefully it's not the only example of us doing that work at a high level, but certainly those are a couple of examples that we're extremely proud of.
I love that. It's a great lesson again about how athletics can trigger a passion for a college and an experience. Even if you're not tied in with a scholarship or athletics, it sets a new goal for kids who may not have experienced it before. I did want to ask you about the inaugural Crusader Golf Invitational presented by Cove Risk at the Worcester Country Club. Beautiful club, by the way. Hosted the first Ryder Cup plus a U.S. Men's and Women's Opens. So tremendous history. What's the growth potential for an event like that to become a destination on the women's NCAA golf calendar?
Yeah, I mean, it's, to have a resource, the Worcester Country Club, a club with so much incredible history that's known, really throughout the world of golf, and to be able to host an event there. It's the first collegiate event they've ever hosted. And all the years that they've existed, this is this past year, the first collegiate event that they've hosted. And we hosted on the women's side. This coming year, we're going to host it on the men's side and then alternate on an annual basis between our men's and women's programs. I think there's incredible opportunities for growth there. But I will say, as a first year event, that was about as well done a first time event as I've ever been a part of. And, kudos to Steve Napoli, our director of golf, to Zach Leach, our golf sport administrator, for the work that they did, but then also the entire team at Worcester Country Club for really embracing this opportunity. We were set up for success, and thankfully we took full advantage. And so the teams that came and participated in year one had a fantastic experience. The feedback's been incredibly strong. Now we're out in front of it a little bit further from dates, and we have, word of mouth recommendations. I think we can continually attract some of the best teams around and, across the country to come play in this. And it can be a real showcase, both for our golf program and our college, but for Worcester. And that's obviously a big driver for us as well.
It's always such a great driving force to have Crusader legends back on campus. And the Varsity Club Hall of Fame event is so good every year. And it allows for some very poignant moments. I want to point to something similar. The jersey retirement ceremonies we've seen for Holy Cross men's hockey over the last year. Tyler McGregor's speech really landed with a lot of people. He scored the overtime winner against Minnesota back in the 2006 NCAA tournament, still the greatest upset in college hockey history. Tyler's been an outstanding guest here on Satyr Stories before. What did his induction and his emotional response to that moment, seeing his jersey hang from the rafters at the Hart Center, what did that bring up in you? And how did that show the bigger mission of Holy Cross Athletics?
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredibly special day when we do these things, and you can see how impactful they are for people. And you can literally see the floods of memories that are coming back to them as they're going through this process. You see the pride from teammates and coaches and members of the community who either knew closely these people or just knew of them and saw them compete. You see these people coming back. We had two women from North Dakota come to his jersey retirement. These are North Dakota fans.
That's right. Because they hate Minnesota so much.
Correct.
There are still Tyler McGregor jerseys that you'll see when you're flying through the Minneapolis airport. I mean, it's tremendous, Kit. They are so petty, and they love Holy Cross so much from that one game.
It's I've never seen anything like it. But the fact that these two women came to celebrate, Tyler and his accomplishments was it just shows the reach when, and the impact when we do those things. Then you see, Tyler's family there, and his wife and his children, his parents, and you see the emotion in their eyes as they're going through it. You see, his coach Paul Pearl back and his teammates, coming back, and what it means to them to see their program recognized. And Tyler, he knocked it out of the park, and he got it exactly. And what it was, two things that jump out to me. One, it's an individual recognition, but it's not about him. It's about all of his teammates and his coaches and all the people who helped him. And it's about his family and what they instilled in him. And he took his opportunity where he's having the light shine on him, and he used his mirror. And I talked about that. In, my introduction to campus. He used a mirror to reflect that, or, back out at other people. He looked through that window and found people to shine the light on. And directed away from himself. It's not about him. It's about everybody else that helped him be in that position. And that, to me, is one of the core messages and the core values that we have as an institution and as a department, and certainly something that a lesson that Tyler learned incredibly well over the course of his life. And the fact that he focused on that was really special. The second thing was the idea of leaving things better than you find them. And that was core to his recruitment to Holy Cross, to his experience and what he did at Holy Cross, and how he lives his life on a daily basis. are you leaving things better than you find them? And he certainly did that in the case of our men's ice hockey program. I'm certain he's done that in his, professional career as a doctor. And, that's something that we talk about, here. That's something that I think about all the time is, are we moving forward? Are we making this place better every single day? And if each of us takes a strong sense of ownership and responsibility to do that on a daily basis, we're going to like the results. And so I think he really hit on kind of what makes this place special and what we hope can make our department special, both this year and beyond.
He certainly did, Kit. And I've had a few people outside the Holy Cross community ask me, why was that goal Tyler McGregor scored so special? I always tell them this: that Minnesota team they beat had 12 NHL draft picks. Coach Pearl's team had 7 pre-meds, including Tyler, who has now gone on to a great career as a doctor in Northern Indiana. Let's take one last break. When we return, we'll pay tribute to an all-time great Crusader and athletic pioneer, Mr. Ron Perry, right here on Sader Stories.
Leadership and excellence in competition, in the classroom, in the community. For decades, Crusader Athletics has focused on our topmost commitment, elevating every student athlete to reach for more, to grow more, to achieve more. Help us to continue to strengthen minds, build character, and celebrate together as one Crusader nation. Because when we commit together, we win together. Join us, Crusaders together.
Many financial advisors are commission-based advisors that work for a bank. At Car Financial, we work for you. Our primary focus is helping our clients achieve their goals. You worked hard in your career. You've earned your retirement. Now let us show you how to make the most out of what you have. We're here to answer your investment, retirement, income tax, and estate planning questions. Through every stage of life, we're here for you. Call us at Car Financial Group today.
Holy Cross is celebrating National Girls and Women in Sports Day on February 15th. Join Crusader student athletes for a free skills fest at 12:45 p.m. prior to the women's basketball game against Lehigh. For more info, visit goholycross.com/NGWSD. I'm Kevin Gale, voice of the Crusaders, and this is Sader Stories, presented by UMass Memorial Health. It's always special to have the Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics here at Holy Cross, Kit Hughes. I like to throw out the official title from his CV. This past October, we did lose a Crusader legend and a former athletic director here at Holy Cross, Mr. Ron Perry. Everybody knew Mr. Perry, a national champion in basketball and baseball here at Holy Cross. He later served more than a quarter century as the AD, really ushered in a modern era of unprecedented success. I wanted to ask you, Kit, looking back on his memorial and the tributes made to Mr. Perry, how did he most impact you as a person in your relationship with him?
That's a big question. I'll try to be, as short as I can with the answer. One of the things that I've thought about, a lot, and I've shared this with some people in regards to Mr. Perry, like, here's somebody who is, not just one of the best baseball players that we've ever had at the college. He's not just one of the best basketball players that we've ever had at the college. He's not just the best athletic director we've had out of the college. He's all of those things. Plus, he's one of the kindest people that I've ever met. And, Mr. Perry was somebody I had an opportunity to meet, my first week in the job. He's a person I felt as though I knew growing up in the area because of, you hear the name and you hear the stories and you kind of build connections just through learning about people. But in meeting him and just kind of seeing how he lives his daily life, how he treated other people, how much he loved his family, how much he loved Holy Cross, how much he loved Catholic Memorial, which was a school that he spent an awful lot of time at, and in particular, kind of in his later years, as loyal a person as you're going to find. And I think that the kind of love of family, the love of community, and the loyalty pieces are things that really jump out to me and mean a lot to me. I walk into an office every single day that has his name on the door. And it gives me a great opportunity to think about, how am I doing the work? Yeah, am I doing this work kind of in a similar image of loyalty and hard work and love of family and love of Holy Cross and as we talked about earlier, constantly focused on leaving things better than you find them. Certainly Mr. Perry did that in all areas of his life, in all, communities that he existed in. And it's just an epic loss for our community, but he's somebody who will be with us forever. And, our intent is to continue to share that legacy and tell those stories of, Crusader greats like Mr. Perry and many others, so that the next generation of Crusaders know, and that people know these stories, and our people know that we're not going to forget, when they do this incredible work and they make this impact, that people aren't going to forget. And so that's work that we continue. We have some great ideas for how to enhance that moving forward, and I look forward to kind of talking more about those, as they start to come online. But certainly somebody made a tremendous impact on everybody he touched, and I certainly count myself as one of those people.
As we build toward the future here at Holy Cross in Mr. Perry's likeness, as you so eloquently said, we have a Power of Purple Giving Day coming up on February 7th and February 8th. How can Crusaders past and present start to make a difference and continue this incredible growth?
Yeah, I mean, I see, Power Purple Giving Day as a real opportunity for our community to step up and send a message, loud and clear that, Crusader athletics matters, right? The work that we do matters. The impact that we make on people matters. It's not forgotten when people leave here. They stay engaged, they stay connected, and they learn lessons that they draw upon every day of their life after they leave Holy Cross. It's a great opportunity to send that kind of message of support. It's a great opportunity to reflect it back onto our current student athletes, right? So our alumni, whether they were alumni of our sports programs or not, each and every one of them, while they're at Holy Cross, had somebody behind the scenes investing in their development, right? Committed to making sure they had resources they needed to be successful. And, they get an opportunity to kind of pay it forward from that standpoint. Again, that's something that is kind of core to the Holy Cross community, and something that we've seen, across this college for a very long time in terms of our high levels of alumni engagement. But, it takes everybody. It's not just our alums, it's our alums, it's our families, our parents, our fans. It's, the last year we had 100% senior student athlete participation in making their first gift to the college, and starting those habits of engagement, really, and staying engaged and tethered to the college. And so it's a great opportunity to send that loud message. And certainly everything that we do on Giving Day has a direct impact on our student athletes and the services that we're able to provide them. We want to provide a first-class experience that's holistic and supports them in all the different ways they're going to develop as people. And it's critical to our success, the success that we have on our Giving Day and beyond. So I'm incredibly grateful. I guess I'll give a preemptive thank you to everybody who's going to participate next month in Power of Purple Giving Day. It's also a day that we're going to have a doubleheader men's and women's basketball game and all sorts of things going on up here at the Luth Athletic Complex, that people who are close enough, I hope that they come and join us, and they're kind of here with us, in spirit and physically here if they can be. But it's going to be a great celebration of our community. We're really looking forward to it.
And coming up on February 15th, we'll be celebrating National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Why do you feel it's so important for Holy Cross to take a leadership role empowering young female athletes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to think that the growth in women's sports that we're seeing means that work is done, right? And it's not. It's a great opportunity for these young ladies to come and learn about various sports that they have access to, connect directly with our incredible student athletes and role models and coaches that we have, to kind of be a part of that. It's exciting when you see the incredible growth of NCAA women's basketball or NCAA volleyball, or the WNBA, and what's going on, there in terms of the increased opportunities. The vote, at the end of the most recent NCAA convention to establish the Women's Basketball Performance Fund, first time that NCAA revenue distribution is going to be tied to competitive success in a women's sport. This is a landmark shift in terms of how the NCAA works. And so you see all these things working together. It's easy to say like, okay, the work is done. We've made it. And that's not the case. We're going to continue to push forward and prioritize both through things like National Women and Girls in Sports Day, but also through things like our Women's Excellence Fund, which is an endowed fund that supports all of our women's sports that was created, within the last 3 years through an incredibly generous donation from an alumna and her family, who, basically said, we're going to make sure we're going to continue to provide the resources to help these young people be successful now and in the future. And so in all these different ways, we're really doing a lot of work to make sure that we have a well-rounded, successful, competitive, nurturing environment for all of our student athletes. And so this is our opportunity to really showcase, the women's side of the department. And it's been an event that over the last couple of years has kind of had increasing success. My hope is that this is our biggest year yet. And so anybody who's listening, who has, who has a daughter or has, maybe they coach a girls basketball team, or they're involved in or they're a teacher, or they work at the youth level, please learn more and go to the website and find ways to come and be a part of it and get engaged, because it really is a unique opportunity. It's hand to hand. You get incredible access to these student athletes and our coaches, and have a lot of fun too. So we're really looking forward to it.
It's been an incredible couple years. You can feel just the growth of a truly well-rounded athletic department, on-field championships, new academic heights, more community engagement than ever before. It feels like the last step is to get as many Crusader fans as possible into our games throughout the rest of the winter at the Hart Center, into the spring, and then, of course, with football right around the corner next fall. So what are some of the best avenues for Crusaders to take advantage of our ticket offerings going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the more that folks can learn about us on our website, we have events constantly, and whether it's ticketed or not ticketed. Some of our unticketed sports are incredible opportunities. This is, and as a parent of 4 young ones, being able to go out and find entertainment that's wholesome and positive and fills them with all the right messages is not always easy to do. And so, we have, sports going on right now. Our swim and dive, we just hosted a home meet, and they had great success. We don't sell tickets for that. Women's ice hockey, hockey's one of the, some of the highest competition you're gonna find around the country, with, a team that just continues to grow and develop and is really on the cusp of such great success. They can come and see these things and participate, and it's not going to cost them anything. And the impact it can have on kids and really and adults as well. I hope people kind of take that to heart. So, obviously, we have sports we sell tickets for, and that's something, our season ticket holders and fans that come and spend their, their hard-earned income to join us and be a part of those. We're incredibly grateful for that. But I just hope that people take every advantage possible to come and join us and be a part of this really special thing that's going on. And I draw your attention to one event that's coming up. It's on February 19th. We talked about all of our academic success from the fall. If that's something that resonates for people and they believe in that kind of the true student athlete, a great opportunity to show support for that is February 19th. We're going to have our student athlete academic recognition night. It's during our men's basketball game with Lafayette, and they can come. We're going to do our halftime recognition of our student athletes who achieve great success in the classroom and celebrate those accomplishments. And so if that's something that means something to you, please come out and support them. It's become an increasingly big deal, both from our external community and our on-campus. We're drawing more and more faculty members to this, more and more members of our college leadership coming to this specific event to show their incredible appreciation and admiration for these young people who are doing such great work in all these areas of their lives. So again, February 19th, men's basketball versus Lafayette, a great opportunity. But the more you can kind of get exposed to all the opportunities we have, I'm certain we have something for everybody. And so I look forward to seeing people there. And if you come, please say hello. Please grab me. I'm there. I'm going to be there. Please grab me and say hi. I'd love to meet people and talk and answer questions. If there's things we don't cover on something like this and you have a question, ask me. Ask me. I'm happy to talk about it. I really enjoy that engagement and look forward to meeting people in person as soon as I can.
I know Crusader fans and alums certainly appreciate that, Kit. Congratulations again on a 3-year anniversary. So much well-rounded success during that time. And I just want to say personally, I'm honored to be the voice of the Crusaders because I've worked with a lot of colleges and universities in athletics, but Holy Cross is truly a unique and special place because you can have it all as a Crusader, and it is not taken for granted. So congratulations to you and your crew, and we'll look forward to seeing you on campus again very soon. You're always around.
Yeah. Well, it's an honor to have you working with us, Kevin. You do such a great job, and really, grateful for, as I said to start out, the ability to tell all of our great stories. You make a great impact on that, and so thank you for all your hard work. I appreciate the time.
It's an honor to tell those stories, especially here on Sader Stories. My thanks to everyone for tuning in. We ask that you tell your fellow Crusaders about Sader Stories, available anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you love hearing these stories from our Crusaders, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. That's it for now. We'll see you next time. I'm Kevin Gale. Go Cross Go.